morning and welcome to the 2020 Rebel Rally live show presented this year by Kia. We are here on the playa still, gearing up to head down to Glamis for our final day of competition tomorrow. It's freezing right now and we've got our jackets on. I'm covered in dust and dirt, and I just learned from Emily, Matthew, that it's going to be 104 degrees down in Glamis.
Yeah, once it gets that hot, you just want to stay in the vehicle, don't you?
Yeah, we're very lucky we've got air conditioning. So before we talk about today, let's quickly go over what we did yesterday. The last time we saw you was here on the playa, but before that it was Razor OHV. The competitors have covered just so many very different types of terrain, and we got to talk with Dennis down at Razor yesterday, and it's so fun to learn about the local knowledge in all these areas we go to. Let's have a quick look at stage winners and then get out and talk to the competitors. Okay, look at this 4x4 class, Matthew. 2017 winners, Kaylee and Terrelyn.
Now, I'm not sure if we covered it, but they were stage 4 winners also. So the marathon led, they won both days of the marathon.
Yeah, they are just crushing it out there. And Kaylee's new Jeep, they used to riding in her 1999 Jeep without air conditioning. They are going to be stoked this afternoon.
I'll say, and one more piece there, they are crushing it. They were doing awesome, but all they've got to do is have a tough time in the dunes, and their lead can evaporate quickly. Yeah. So the pressure is still on. No one's running away with this thing.
Now, the big story from yesterday, and we're hopefully going to catch Penny and Shelby over there in a second, is the crossover. X-Cross, I'm calling it X-Cross. X-Cross class yesterday had a massive shake-up. And look at this. Yeah. Team Kia. The live show sponsor team, the Tellurriders, Sabrina Howes and Alyssa Ronick, have come in and had a crusher day yesterday, Matthew.
You know, they've got the experience, and Alyssa competed with my wife, with Chrissy, in the rally in Morocco.
Oh, that's
Gazelle
right.
Rally several years ago. So Alyssa, while not known really in this circle really well, she has the experience, and going into the dunes, they're going to be a force.
Yeah, so today is it's a game changer, and also They have 40 kilometres today off-road, and then it's a transit. So that's our live crew is going to go down and find some points of interest. But the total kilometres today is 370 kilometres, but only 40 of it is a precision enduro over at Hammertown, which is going to be fantastic. We're going to have to get down the road, but before we go have a chat to the competitors, do you want to go over the course description, Matthew?
Yeah, I'd love to. Speaking of that precision enduro, it's like we saw on the side of the hill in Ridgecrest, only it's on a flat, dry lake. So I'll cover that here. So today is just labeled flat, difficult. Other days haven't been so blunt. It's difficult here on day 6 of the Rebel for 2020. This year, course planning took into account the knowledge that competitors have built as they studied the area. Changing map sizes and lobbing longer distance checkpoints is the first challenge met by a precision enduro. That precision enduro is going to have headings and distances to rely on, so you're going to be driving kind of blind, it feels like, in the car. That's going to be near Means dry lake bed. The precision enduro takes away any advantage of area knowledge as teams must navigate their particular road book, and there are several road book directions out there. Each group's road book is different, yet the challenge is equal. The challenge means that competitors must follow the exact heading and distance to get to their designated checkpoint, while the rally is broken up into 3 groups and the teams do not know which group they are in. This challenge takes into a step further to ensure teams do not follow. 2018, the Precision Enduro saw many teams follow each other, which bit them on their scores. So we said the same thing a couple times there to really make it clear. It's built not to follow each other. The last bit here, upon exiting Johnson Valley, teams transit through the stunning landscape of Joshua Tree National Park, a descent through Box Canyon, around the shores of the Salton Sea, and back into the dirt in the bizarre locale of East Jesus and Salvation Mountain.
We're going to East Jesus, by the way.
You know what? I'm going to finish reading this, and then I think we should get a coffee. The final destination of the day is the famed Imperial Dunes. The massive field of dunes will definitely rattle the nerves of both rookies and the experienced. A trip up Oldsmobile Hill near sunset will reward those looking to capture the X checkpoints.
Wow, Oldsmobile at the end of today. So after that big long transit, heading up Oldsmobile. It'll be really interesting for some of these competitors who haven't seen the dunes. Now on screen now, you can see they moved the start line on us last minute. Actually, it wasn't last minute. We just didn't realise it was in the middle of the dry lake bed. Luckily, Paige, our epic drone pilot, is out there capturing them at the start. You can see they're lined up side by side. So this is a two-team start off the line every 3 minutes, and they'll head right the dry lake bed into this precision enduro. So let's whip over and grab a coffee, Matthew, and see if we can't grab Shelby and Penny. Yeah.
I saw you trying to chat with them this morning.
Will can take his time because we're going to grab a coffee. Morning, ladies. Good luck out there. Look, there's no line at the coffee, Matthew.
Oh, we're going to do that first?
We're going to do that. Well, is she packing up? Let's go. Oh, here comes Will. Poor Will. Masks on.
Let's get our mask on here.
Because we don't want to lose Penny. Hey, Penny. I know you're rushing out there, but we'd love to just have a 2-minute chat with you about what your strategy is. We know that X-Cross has been a real upset the last few days. You guys are right in the hunt. It's going to be very tight. What is your strategy going into the final stages?
Honestly, like a big part of being an X-Cross is trying to figure out the right routes to take. It's pretty difficult. You're looking at a map that, I can show you a little bit. You're looking at a map with a lot of information and at the same time not a lot of information about the quality of the road. And so, our big ticket right now is to not try to get everything that we're going after, everything that we want. Shelby and I, we really like to go for black checkpoints. We like to really push ourselves in driving and in navigation, and sometimes we have to dial ourselves back and remember that we need to make sure that we're choosing faster routes so we can keep moving through terrain. That's really the biggest thing for us, because if we get slowed down trying to get after a really awesome checkpoint in a really neat area, it just slows us down, and then we can't always make the best decisions and we can't always take the best routes. So.
And what were you saying earlier about, you just met, I love it. We've got, Shelby's not here because she's over there brushing her teeth. This is rally style hygiene. So tell us a little bit about what it's like to be with someone that you only just met.
We kind of feel like we've hit the lottery. Shelby and I met, so I think today's Thursday? Wednesday? Thursday?
It's Thursday.
Today's Thursday. We met not this Monday, but the Monday before, and we are so lucky because we actually communicate really, really well together. We both want the same things. We are working towards the same things. We push each other and ourselves in the same way. So we're really lucky that we have a very similar communication technique. So it's been amazing. We're so lucky. We have so much fun. We laugh. We haven't cried. We just laugh and have an amazing time and just stay focused when we need to be in last weekend.
Thank you so much, Penny, driving the 2020 Ford Bronco. Good luck at 2021. Oh my gosh, see, it's Thursday in 2021, right?
Thursday 2020.
Oh no. Okay, let's get this right. It is Thursday 2020. They're driving the Ford Bronco 2021. So that's in... Catch Shelby over here. Well, Shelby's just come back from brushing her teeth. In 2020. Thank you so much, ladies. We're going to go over and talk to your competition right now. Enjoy yourselves out there. Matthew, Will, can you find Matthew over there? He is now talking to Team Tell You Riders.
Standing over here with our live show sponsored team in the Kia Tell You Ride, Alyssa and Sabrina. There lots of smiles, I can tell by their eyes this morning. So they're, just hearing them chat about, we're going to go this way off the line and getting their final map bit put together. So did you guys knew you were having a pretty strong day yesterday and you were going to make up some points?
It's so interesting because we felt really good about it. We knew we were missing, strategically, skipping a couple of points here and there. We thought we'd be able to make it back to base camp, but we couldn't. So we picked up one last blue checkpoint on the route, and we knew we were gonna have. We were doing well. We didn't know that we won the day yesterday, but
That's been
We're
our
very
theme
excited.
since we did really well the first day, had a pretty bad second day, and then our saying has just been win the day. So we've almost won all the days since then. So
I love that about about the Rebelle because things happen, right? So you can still play that competition to win the days, right? And in your case, focusing on that has got you back into, we'd say, definitely contention. Heading into the dunes, so many different things can happen. Now, do you feel like you guys have some? You're going to be pretty strong in the dunes?
I hope so. I mean, we got a little bit of a confidence boost on day 4. We pulled one of the Broncos out of the dunes, and we had a really good day in there. So that was a bit of a confidence booster, knowing that our little Kia was doing so well in there.
And navigation-wise,
we were spot on that day.
Her confidence was great with the pulling them out, and my confidence, I was oh man, I don't know.
She nailed
how
a
close
black in there.
So I was very excited.
Someone's getting a phone call.
Is that for me?
I'm having PTSD right now from hearing a phone ringing. Is someone calling me?
It's a work call. It's a work call, I promise.
Yeah, sure.
But you know what? In the crossover category, the cars are so much more fragile than the big, 4-wheel drive.
Yeah.
So you know that the other teams are in the same situation we're in. That yesterday we saw a lot of 202s having a lot of car trouble, so it sort of evens things out. We had a pop tire on day 2. Some folks had pop tires, and I saw one of the Bronco teams had to rip their skid plate off because it got pretty gnarly. So you just sort of know everyone's gonna have that bad day we had, so you just sort of stay in the day.
And with yesterday, we're bummed that we didn't make it back to base camp in time to get the points, but all the top crossover teams missed base camp at the end of the day because we were trying so hard to get more checkpoints and not realizing that we just in crossover didn't have enough time to get the last 3 checkpoints and get back to base camp. So we were all in the same boat. We've
got 2 more days.
Yeah, I know you guys have some time management to work on right now. Hey, I'm told that Kia has brought us some coffee.
Yes, right behind you. You're
Oh,
welcome.
actually, I actually tell you, it sounds like Katie has found it. All right, we're gonna go catch up with Katie.
Enjoy. You're welcome.
Thank you.
So it's a good
luck.
thing that Will's in sport mode today because we're playing Where's Waldo. I'm now over, of course, at the coffee truck, and I'm going to order a coffee. Kia organised this for the competitors this morning, and it is such a treat. Isn't it a treat, Susan? Hi, guys. Can I have an Americano, please? Americano? Yes, please. How cool is that? An Americano right here on the playa. I mean, really, they've got a whole selection. And did you get breakfast from here, Susan?
Oh my God, the burritos were amazing.
Oh, the burritos were amazing from Clutch and Coffee. Susan, how are you feeling today?
I feel fantastic. We have really gotten we've had a lot of challenges that we've overcome, and so we feel extremely understanding of riding the middle. It's one of those things that Emily Miller always says, which is, you just have to be very strategic, slow down, and just go for what you know you could get and keep moving down the course.
That's
We have
the
a
name
long
of the
way to go
game.
to get to Glamis today, so we're very clear about, again, our budget and just how we're going to get down the course.
All right, well, thank you and good luck out there,
Thank you.
Susan.
Bye, you guys.
So, you need to order coffee, Matthew.
Oh, you've ordered?
I've already
What did you order?
I got an Americano.
Americano.
Will, do you want a coffee? Do you think you could hold it? Will doesn't want a coffee.
Did you see him trying to manage his cell phone when it started ringing?
So while we get our coffee now, we're going to have a look at Jimmy Lewis's piece on the course, and then we're going to go to a chaos commercial because we're heading down to see our cousins this afternoon.
My name is Jimmy Lewis. I'm the course director at the Rebelle Rally. I am a washed-up ex-motorcycle racer. I won the Baja 1000 once with Johnny Campbell. I've finished on the podium in the Dakar Rally back when it was in Africa. In being the course director, I've worked with Emily from the beginning when she told me she had this crazy idea, and she had a really good base of where she wanted it to go, and there was a lot of areas that I was very familiar with. Scouting the course was, first it was done in our heads, and then it was done on paper maps and things, and then there were certain sections that we actually had to go out and drive, and not only just knowing where to go, but knowing how to set checkpoints, what was involved in that. So I had to really rethink my navigation, bone up on my navigation skills. I'm used to doing it more with map books and GPS and riding fast, where this is slow down, think about it, understand how to triangulate things, how to measure distances, understanding, terrain features and things, using paper maps, using analog compasses. So it put a whole new effect into the way you saw the land, the way you kind of absorbed it. So actually going out and running some of the stages that we built and then correcting it based on this is the way the competition is going to take place. That's the real challenge in this. When you actually find a point and you know how difficult it is, and that's kind of cool. And I think you're going to get to that maybe up to 23 times in a single day if you're good. You could have a really great day or a bad day.
At Total Chaos, we believe in pushing everything to the limits and testing everything in our arsenal. We design our equipment to perform in brutal environments and some of the harshest off-road terrain. And because of that, we have been trusted to pre-run every mile of the Rebelle Rally for the last 5 years. Welcome to the chaos.
Here under pressure, trying to
Well,
get my
I'm
coffee
still
so I
here
can
at
get out
the
of the
coffee
way.
shop.
I've got some hungry rebels right behind me. So standing here in the coffee line, did you hear they were growling? They were just growling. I'm feeling a bit intimidated that I need to get out of the way. They're like, this is our space. You gotta go. Katie, come save me. Here's your coffee. You want this?
Oh my gosh, I apologize. So Matthew is holding up the whole coffee line. We're here at Coffee and Clutch, completely blowing the show at the coffee line. Sorry, the Rivian guys are there patiently waiting. I'm now going to drop everything. But we've got Harry heading over to the vehicles. Before we go to Harry though, I'm going to whip over here. I'm diverting you. Sorry, hun. But we have to go look at something. We're going to whisk past Kendra here and a table so I can put down my notes. Kendra is still plotting. Last person's plotting. But it's really important that you see the official notice board and we can have a look at the map and show where they're going. And I know this is making your jaunt over to the vehicles a little bit more difficult, but I apologize in advance. These are our maps today. So the women have come and looked at the highway routes. And again, as we said earlier, it's a big transit day down to Glamis. We've got the official scoring, so they have these maps when they can mark the highways on their own maps. The Salton Sea is right here. It's a spot that we're going to jump out and shoot so we can show you our adventures getting down the line today. We have the start order here. And we were going to end up, because this is crunch time. We are down to the wire. Here we go. We've got Base Camp 2 highlighted there, and then Dove Springs. You remember Dove Springs with the huge inclines? And Trona Peaks, an amazing point of interest for all of us. Then down to Dumont Dunes, where the competitors had their marathon leg and did self-camping. Yesterday we met Dennis, as I said earlier, at Razor Road, and here we are in Johnson Valley, famous King of the Hammers spot at Base Camp 3. And today we are going to go on our own little adventure, Matthew and I. Oh, look at that view. Look at that. So they're lined up there side by side, and they're going off the line every 3 minutes to head to the first 40 kilometres of the day, which is off-road. and then they transit down. And as I was just saying, we're going to go hit our own checkpoints, Matthew, and go on a bit of a scavenger hunt and show the audience at home some of the amazing places these rebels get to see from the shores of Lake Tahoe all the way down to the border of Mexico. Now, I want to catch Harry before any of the all of the vehicles leave impound, and I think he's going to touch on tyres today. Go for it, Harry.
Okay, I think we're good, Harry. I can't hear the comms. Yeah, go.
Sorry about the technical difficulties. We're here in the impound area where the vehicles come in at the end of each day and they're sequestered for the evening. Teams getting back to their vehicles now to go to the start line, which is a little different today. We're going to a remote start line. Today I want to talk to you about tires, one of my favorite subjects. So traditionally tires in the past were bias ply construction. They used polyester and nylon belts that cross the entire tire, and these days we have radial tires. So everything out here has radial tires. As the name implies, there's steel belts that run the circumference, and they still have polyester sidewalls. Those sidewalls can be 2-ply or 3-ply. If you have something heavy like a Ford Super Duty truck, you're going to want a 3-ply sidewall, a higher load range. And you might be wondering why I'm rambling on about tires, but this has been a factor in the rally this year. We've seen teams yesterday in Johnson Valley get sidewall punctures. They've had their tires damaged, and that might come into play today because they still have a lot more ground to cover in Johnson Valley, and now they don't have a functional spare. Some of those top teams are going to have to be a little more conservative. You might be wondering why you would ever want a 2-ply sidewall, but if you have a lighter vehicle like a Jeep Wrangler or a Toyota Tacoma, you don't necessarily need that heavy tire. There's going to be a penalty in terms of weight, in terms of mileage. This vehicle here that we're looking at, the Infiniti Q56, has Nitto Terra grapplers on it. This is an aftermarket tire, a little bigger. They chose not to run in bone stock, but an excellent tire. They've proven themselves out at the Hammers. Nitto, one of the top tires run at King of the Hammers here in Johnson Valley. And this team, despite a relatively heavy vehicle, high horsepower, zero problems with regards to tires thus far. Now, Team Blanchirage is running Falcon AT3Ws on their Jeep. This is a great all-weather tire. Perhaps the most popular tire at the rally this year. Falcon, an up-and-coming brand. We've seen a lot more all-terrain tires than we've seen mud terrains at this event. I think that's because we're not really in much mud. The all-terrain make less compromises, and when you get out to the sand dunes, a more aggressive tire is going to want to dig where these all-terrain tires float on top. These do have 3-ply sidewalls construction and have proven to be reliable and rugged. The gold standard for tires we'll see over here on this Super Duty, in my opinion, are BF Goodrich all-terrains. This is the tire by which all others are measured, and I think it's no surprise that you see them on vehicles like Princess, the Total Chaos Lexus that Emily Miller drives, or Matthew Johnson's personal forerunner. So these tires, similar to the Falcons that we just saw, it's an all-terrain, it's got good tread depth, they've got siping, so they're good in wet weather conditions, and just a good all-around tire. These two have 3-ply sidewalls and stronger construction than you'll see on some tires that use 2-ply construction. The reason for that, they're lighter, they cost less to manufacture, and they'll provide better mileage just by the fact they have less rolling resistance. So we even see on vehicles like a Tacoma that is a performance off-road vehicle, they'll come with a P-metric tire, not even an LT, which stands for light truck tire. And the rationale there is that they're trying to eat every possible mile per gallon in these fuel economy standards. The Bronco Sports. Now this one, Team 201 Shelby Hall, they're running BFGs, a much smaller one, but still a BFG all-terrain. Shelby and her family have a long history with BF Goodrich, and they've proven to be successful in every environment they've raced in and rallied for that matter. Not as much sidewall in this, it's a much shorter tire, and that tire aspect ratio comes into play out here as well. The more sidewall there is, you'll have squirm on the road as that sidewall flexes, but off-road, where we are,
it gives the tire the opportunity to conform to the terrain. It doesn't have to worry about impacts as much. Or the Rivian, interesting choice. These come with Pirelli tires, a name that's synonymous with high performance. You don't see them as much in the off-road world, but they've proven to be reliable for Team Kilowatt out here. And also a shot of their huge brakes there, another performance aspect. They have regenerative braking on their electric vehicle, so that comes into play, and working in conjunction with the tires to stop and start the vehicle. That's it from Impound as the teams head out to the start line. Back to you, Katie.
Wow, Matthew and I are standing here at the screen just watching these drone shots in absolute awe. How cool is this, with the competitors going off 2 at a time across the playa? And you just saw there, those two teams, I couldn't see the numbers, but they must have a different road book and they're heading in different directions, or they have a different strategy. But as we've heard a lot yesterday evening and this morning, competitors cannot follow each other. And even though the competitors know that, there's something about our instinct that sees somebody going in one direction and you feel drawn to that. So it messes with you. And I can tell you right now, I mean, you just heard me earlier with the 2020, 2021, not knowing what day it is. At this point, not only are the competitors feeling a little jaded and confused, and, you know, put 2020, the year 2020 on top of that, we're all a little cuckoo for Cocoa Pops as we get down to Glamis to meet our crazy cousins. So thank you, Harry. Harry tells me more about vehicles than I've ever known. I mean, I don't know someone who knows more about vehicles than Harry. And I think going over tyres this morning was so important because, as we said earlier, they've got 40 kilometres off-road right now, and they have to make it to Glamis to be in this competition. And we're here in Hammertown. Matthew, why don't you talk a little bit about what Hammertown can do to you as a person and as a vehicle?
Well, this place is just, it can be really tough. This dry lake is obviously beautiful, but if you're taking a heading, I don't know if you noticed, but those teams are driving into the sun. So you take a heading, you look at a mountain, and you're like, all right, that bush on that mountain is what I'm headed at. And then you're blinded by the sun, and it gets kind of hard to take a heading. As soon as you get off this dry lake bed, though, as we said about Hammertown, is hammered. The ground is rough, it's rolly, there's lots of whoops. So it takes a lot of patience. And if you lose your patience, you may drive in such a way that, again, back to the tires, put your tires in danger. You got to get yourself to the dunes with 4 tires with some air in them, and you should be safe in the tire equation, at least through tomorrow.
And
so,
you know what's really important to mention as well, like we were talking yesterday, it's cool that Hammertown is hammered right now because it means that with COVID people are getting outside, and we think that's great because we're off-road more than most, but seeing that more people are getting into this recreational activity is great. But, you know, we have noticed there's a lot of trash around, and one of the things that Emily is so vigilant about is leave no trace. And, you know, if you're out off-roading, it's really easy to leave the place the way you found it. And we make a real... Look at this shot.
oh, man.
Paige is crushing it today on the drone. What a talented pilot.
I think that's Ilana driving the Ford Bronco, and then in the distance we could see Lynn Woodward and Sedona in the Nissan.
Now
and
they're a bit of an upset.
I agree. They're shooting up the overall standings. They're in the game. In the Nissan Frontier, they are in the game. They could win this thing.
And last year when we got down to San Diego, her parents were waiting for us right there.
Cool.
And so hello, Lynn's parents. She's crushing it. You should be very proud. And Sedona's. So what are they up to? Can you see that?
Well, out to the edge of the lake bed, basically. There might be a bit of loose sand there, and now this is where you see 50 different roads as options for where you're going. The way it works out here in the desert, in I guess Johnson OHV, if you haven't been out here before, as soon as a road gets torn up enough, people just drive off a different direction and make a new road, and until that one gets torn up, and then you drive off of that one and make another new road. So you end up with a myriad of options of roads going maybe the direction you want to go. And honestly, I just choose the smoothest one, which probably drive a navigator nuts if I'm constantly trying to find the smoothest route.
We like a smooth ride. I'd like a smooth ride today.
Yeah, but you like to be lost too?
So talking of today, I'm going to let you know what we're up to. We're going to have our own little rally today.
Oh, yeah.
I've set some checkpoints of points of interest, and our challenge is to jump out, do a one take, this is where we are, and we're going to show people at home what kind of things you see on this competition. Now, it is a competition first and foremost, but I can tell you, I think I've seen more of California and Nevada than most Americans. So we're going to start here. We're going to do the dry lake bed, which is like being on Mars. And then the second spot, I'm not going to do it in order. I know we have to go and find some Joshua trees. I know we have to go and figure out what's going on down at the Salton Sea.
Yep.
And then we're going to go to a place called Salvation Mountain. Have you heard of that?
I have. It's quite colorful.
So we're going to go there, and then we're on a timeline. We have an hour drive and then a half an hour shoot between each. And then we're going to get down to Glamis and show the audience at home what these competitors... So Nathan just said we're going to see you on camera. That sun, man, that sun right in the eye.
I know. The sun was down when I looked at this spot. Hey, so this sounds fun. And, you know, I remember from other years, we drive by fields and fields and fields of growing produce as well. It's like you feel like you're in the desert, and then boom, you're in an area where it's just bright green, and there's these massive fields growing.
We saw sheep.
Carrots.
We're in the middle of the desert. There was a big
saw some
field of
sheep.
grass, and I guess those are grass-fed sheep in the desert. Anyway, that's our adventure. And when we get to Glamis, we are going to edit a piece to show you we call it our fake live piece these days, but we want to show you the great places that we get to visit as well. Now, once we get to Glamis, the fun stops. Like, the competition is at full tilt, and what's the phrase? The men from the mice? We can't really say that for the ladies. We'll have to work on that in the car today, but we're going to come up with a good phrase. But
suffice to say, the teams have gotten better and better and better at what they're doing all week, and their challenge has gotten harder and harder and harder to match that. So it's not like they've been able to master something and now they're crushing it. They've gotten good at something, and now it's gotten a lot harder.
And in Glamis, you have to be a good navigator. You have to be a good driver, and you have to know your vehicle. So you can't really compensate. This is when everything comes into play, and the competition is really won in Glamis, wouldn't you say?
I definitely would, as long as I keep calling it in the game. Let's call it in the game. If you're around the top 10 in the overall standings, then you've got reach to win this thing. And let's not forget, Glamis is not like, oh, it's pretty sand dunes and it's just hard to drive in. It could be gale force winds of 50 miles an hour. You might be trying to navigate when you can't dead reckon off of anything. You might really be down to, pins and needles here, just trying to get some checkpoints. So we'll see when we get down there. We know it's going to be a hot one.
We've got to pull out our goggles so we don't get sand in our eyes.
do.
Our masks will come in handy. Now, let's have a look at what's going on the screen. So they're still lined up, but things are getting a little sparse around here. Base camp's empty, and everybody's heading down the road. Is that Chris Bulk? No, who's that in front? It is. It's Chris. She's also always up there, hanging in the top 10. She's a great competitor.
And I can see Nina Barlow's Power Wagon there in the second row, and Karen Hohen and Dana Saxon there in their Land Rover.
We saw yesterday, if you remember, we drove past Team 100, who's sitting in second right now. I want to say Rochelle and Taylor. They had a flat tyre. We talked to them at the finish line, and not only did they have a flat tyre, they also got all of their checkpoints for the day, and they changed that tyre in 20 minutes. I mean, that's efficiency. Those two know how to handle a situation that isn't normal.
Is 20 minutes fast to change a tire?
Oh. They said to me we changed it in 20 minutes. I just assumed that was fast. How quickly can you change a tyre?
Well, I do my best not to. If I can... Sorry. If I have to change one... No, in rallying, we would try to get it down to 3 minutes.
Damn. Well, are you going to do a demonstration? You know what?
Hold on. Here's the whole thing.
You have
Yeah, okay.
There's a challenge.
But these tires and wheels are a lot bigger. The vehicles are a lot higher off the ground, so you've got to use a larger jack. So you know what? Maybe 20 minutes is quite efficient. I just hadn't considered it.
It's a big, heavy tire.
Yeah, it's super heavy.
And remember, they've got all that gear. You don't have as much gear as they have. They have to get out their jack. But that goes down to efficiency. Are you organised to get it out quickly? They do.
To get your jack out without moving all the other things in your truck. That's a good point.
So there's a tyre challenge, I think on Saturday morning. It's a little bit of a lift.
Is it a secret?
I think it is. And so Emily's going to throw it out there, and the prize is going to be great. But you could maybe do the demonstration for the tyre challenge, Matthew. What do you see there, the Rivian?
Well, I'm looking at the Rivian, but the way I'm watching the headlights and the marker lights on the front of it flashing on and off, I wonder if that's a programmed function for driving in dust, or if they're.
We'll have to ask the
if
Rivian
they've
guys.
got some issue or something we're not aware of.
Let's have a look at the YB Tracker and see where they've gone on this Precision Enduro. If you don't know what the YB Tracker is, it's an application from our partner YB Tracking, and it's called YB Races. And here you can see, is this yesterday's or today's, guys? Am I looking at yesterday's or today's? Oh, this is current. This is
Current
real
YB
time.
Tracker.
Look at that. Wild Grace, Tickety Boo AF in the Jeep Rubicon. So you can see this is the start line down here. I think, yeah. Lovely. Thank you, Tracy. Brilliant. So we've got record the journey down. Oh, no, this is the start line.
There's the dry lake bed that
Of
we're
course.
standing in. So they've made a good distance there. And when we hovered over, you'd see a lot of them are going like 11 miles an hour or so, and that's about the speed. So they're on a more formal road there, the ones we were just highlighting. Hemispheres United there, 18 miles an hour, so it's pretty smooth where they are.
And you can track your sister, your mother, whoever you're following, you can track them on YB Tracker, and you'll be able to see where they are in real time. So right now they're on the dry lake bed lining up, and then these ones to the right have gone out to the Precision Enduro, but that does not show that they are in front. You need to go to rebelrally.com to look at the live scoring, and as the day progresses, you're going to see which checkpoints the people that you're following have attained. So don't look at it at midday and think that that's the standings, because maybe there's 3 teams that are an hour behind and they haven't got those checkpoints. Another thing that Chrissy asked me to bring up today, Matthew, was open and closing times. A lot of people at home have been asking about that, because the competitors came in yesterday with 30 seconds to spare when this green checkpoint, which is base camp, is considered a checkpoint. Not always green, but it's considered a checkpoint. When you go off the line, you have a certain amount of time for all the green checkpoints to open and to close. So let's say that you went off the line at 7 and one of the green checkpoints opened 4 hours after that and closed 6 hours after that. It's 4 hours and 6 hours if you started at 7:30. So we can't definitively tell you that base camp night is going to close at, say, 6 p.m. because it's different depending on what time you came off the start line. So they are all racing to get to the appropriate time control, but it depends on their start time. So just for clarity, it differs.
And the reason so much thought has gone into these opening, closings, and all that is that it's absolutely fair for every team. You win and you leave the start line, you have the same amount of time as everybody else to get to complete your day.
And here we've got 120. Where are they sitting?
Yeah, we chatted with them last night. They said their third teammate had a bit of a hammering, and their Odo wasn't working, and so they're having quite a large Odo error. If the standard speedometer wasn't adjusted when it got larger tires and wheels, and sometimes that can be hard to do on some vehicles, then...
And they've got their helmets on. They definitely look like they're ready to roll.
Yeah.
So from what we can tell here in Impound, everybody's ready to roll today. And actually Will's out there all by himself with that last vehicle in sport mode. So Will's going to come with us to shoot our points of interest. We're pretty excited about our adventure today.
You know, we were looking at YB Tracker, if anybody still part of that conversation. What you don't see on YB Tracker right now are your checkpoints, the greens and the blues, because we're doing a precision enduro on the lake bed. Usually, while you're watching YB Tracker, you can look for those blue boxes and the black diamonds and the greens on YB Tracker as well.
And another question that we got on Facebook was, do you have to be a professional driver to do this?
No way.
And that brings us into our starter package competition. But how about you answer that? You're a professional driver. I
am.
competed. I'm not a professional driver. You really don't have to be.
No, you don't. You just need to do a bit of training, keep your eyes up, look where you're going, keep 2 hands on the wheel. I mean, there's the basics.
Yeah.
You know, and the rest of it is seat time and experience. But if it's something you're interested in, you absolutely do not need a professional. You need some guidance, choosing the right equipment and the right car. And then you just focus on the basics. I can't say enough. 2 hands on the wheel, eyes up, look where you're going, pick the right gear, make sure you put gas in the tank, air in the tires.
And if you're interested in doing the Rebel Rally, just go onto our website, all of the trainings that happen year round, and the trainings are so much fun. The locations that Emily picks are magical, and you'll meet a fantastic group of women, and you can learn the basics of navigation and driving in the trainings. There are also multiple ways to learn the navigation with a bunch of Facebook Live. During COVID, the team did Facebook Live, everything from Rachel Ridenauer teaching us how to make coffee 4 different ways, to Chrissy, your wife, doing really robust navigation training.
Yeah, Chrissy and Emily got together at our house like 2 years ago and got maps out and shot as accurately as they could. Here's how you plot. Here's how this works. There's loads of training videos accessible.
And you don't have to do it in a vehicle. When I was training, my kids would be getting ready for school. I would find 4 geocaching spots in my local area, and I would say, right, you guys get ready to school. Get ready for school. I'm in a race to plot these checkpoints. I would plot them. I'd drop them off at school, and then as a workout, I would run to those different geocaching locations, and that was fitness, right? I knocked that off, and I learned to navigate doing that, and I just got my bearings. Like,
do you want to share how many kids you have?
4. Hi guys. Richie,
I don't
Mary,
think the fans
Rita,
at home know how
Jack.
much of an animal Katie is.
Did you just say animal?
She's a force to be reckoned with.
Animal's not the right word, though.
It's a compliment here. I don't
you.
know what Kiwis say, but that's a compliment in the U.S.
Thank you very much.
You're a force.
And we have a young man here called Atlas, who is Matthew's son, and it's so great to have him here with us on the rally, the only child that's allowed on the rally, because our head score and head judge needs to have him with her. Okay, enough about us. Let me talk about the starter package. Okay, if you want to rebel and you want to get amongst it and learn, you need some tools. Go on to our website, rebelrally.com, and sign up for our newsletter. That's all you need to do. And you can go in the draw to win this starter package worth over $700. There's a Corksicle canteen, there's Cafe Moto coffee, a Sunto compass, your most valuable tool, bandanas, face masks, chocolate, beanie stickers, sunscreen, a Total Chaos bag, a Big Agnes duffel bag, and of course the my favourite thing, which is the jump starter from our friends at Wagon, and a set of Max Tracks, which you're going to see a lot more of when we get to Glamis. Look at, there goes Atlas and So let's go and have a look at our Wagon commercial. Matthew, look at Nathan. He's like, no, I want to have our Wagon commercial play because I am super stoked at their jump starter.
There's our Kia Telluride off the line there.
There goes the Kia Telluride. Wagon is a new partner, and their tool that is my favourite is their jumper. I can jump my Suburban in it when the battery goes flat for whatever reason, and I've jumped people on the side of the road and a boat in a pinch, and it charges my phone in a pinch, so it's my favourite tool. Why are you laughing?
And maybe the coffee's getting to me, but you're like, I jump people on the side of the road. It just sounded so funny.
Can we please go to this commercial? The plyer's getting to me.
Hi, I'm Justin from Wagon Tech, a company that has been in the Bay Area of California for over 37 years. As an automotive lifestyle company, we provide products that give you power, comfort, and convenience for the road ahead. Power means having a hot cup of coffee no matter where you are. Comfort is enjoying your trip. Convenience is having the tools you need when you need it. With Wagon Tech, you'll always be road ready.
So we need to get down the road here, Matthew, but before we do, let's just spend a little bit more time out on the playa with Paige, because I mean, look at this view. These are the kind of places that you get to experience if you join the Rebel Rally. I mean, these women have seen some, and we don't, there's donkeys. Someone saw a camel the other day.
What?
Yeah, so you're in full rally mode and trying to keep your head in the map, and then you'll look up and there'll be wild horses thundering next to you, dozens of them. So there's just so many distractions that you have to choose whether or not you are going to pay attention to them or you're competing.
I think the camel might have been a donkey with a guy taking a nap on the back or something.
No, it was a camel.
It was
I
a
think it was a
camel?
bit of a Tiger King camel, though. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't think there's camels out here naturally. Okay, so there's only a few cars left to go. Well, let's pack up and get down the road, and we will see you this afternoon from Glamis. So we're going to go and, as I said, shoot some points of interest, and then we're going to get very serious about tomorrow's competition and take you through. We'll know more about where they're standing when we get to Glamis, so we'll be able to fill you in. But remember, follow on YB Races to see where they are in real time. Go to rebelrally.com, follow our socials, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We have some great photos and video that's been uploaded there now. And our next show tonight is at 6 p.m, depending on when the competitors are coming in. So we'll keep you posted. Check on social to see when we're going to go live next. And we will see you down the line. Looking forward to it, and thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Life can throw you a curve, send you down an unexpected path. But navigating the rocky moments is part of the adventure. To help you discover what's been missing.
Bandit! Why did you run off?
Introducing the 2021 Telluride Nightfall Edition.
Iridium is more than just a satellite company, making connections anywhere, to anything, or anyone. There's no other network like it. Operating in low Earth orbit, Iridium is still the only commercial satellite system where calls and data are passed from satellite to satellite. Safety and reliability are in Iridium's DNA. Trusted by people and organizations in some of the world's most challenging environments, Iridium remains committed to helping make the world a safer place. As we look to the future, the possibilities are endless.